Hello again. With the Batman vs. Superman movie just a few weeks away, I decided I would do a few mini-reviews talking about the earlier Batman-Superman movies leading up to this new one. And before I start, I just want to let you know something. Back when the Batman vs. Superman movie was due for a May release, my plan was to review all the original Christopher Reeve movies on the Bisexual Movie Buff, including Superman Returns and Man of Steel. But with the release date changed to March 25th, I decided that that wasn't enough time for me to really get myself together and do those reviews. So I decided I would review these movies on the mini-reviews. And as those who watch me know, my very first mini-review was on the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight movies. And you know what I thought about those movies. So, I am going to talk about the Tim Burton Batman movies and the Joel Schumacher Batman movies. Hope I pronounced that name right. My opinion is pretty much the same as most fans of the original Batman movies. The Tim Burton movies I think are the best, and the Joel Schumacher movies they are definitely bad movies. There are a few small good things, but they are bad. And there's too many bad things to list about them, so I'll just keep it simple. Val Kilmer and George Clooney are horrible Batmans. Val Kilmer is just wooden. George Clooney, it's obvious, George Clooney did not care about doing Batman Robin, and if he did originally, he lost it at some point during filming. Batman Robin is, in my opinion, George Clooney's worst performance ever. As Batman Bruce Wayne, he is Nicolas Cage from the 2014 Left Behind movie. Bad. I don't know what was going through his head when he made this movie, but it's obvious when watching Batman Robin, he just looks miserable. And when it comes to naming the number one worst thing about Batman Forever, it would be Tommy Lee Jones' Two-Face. He breaks all the rules that we've come to associate with him as an actor. Number one, Tommy Lee Jones does not smile. Number two, Tommy Lee Jones does not laugh. And number three, Tommy Lee Jones is not ever happy. It is unnerving, but not in the way Two-Face should be. It's just, we're not used to seeing Tommy Lee Jones this positive and hyper. The one thing that saves Batman Forever from being just as awful as Batman Robin is Jim Carrey as the Riddler. And Jim Carrey's pretty hit and miss. Sometimes he's funny, sometimes he annoys the living shit out of everybody. But in this case, he kind of works in the usual Jim Carrey sense. But once again, it's not what you think of when you think of fucking Batman. But he is pretty funny, and he just puts everything he has into the role of the Riddler. And the best scene in Batman Forever... Warning, upcoming spoilers, if you really care, for anyone who hasn't seen Batman Forever, is when the Riddler destroys the Batcave. He just really gets into it, and you just want to laugh with him. And his closing line after finally blowing the whole thing up, Joygasm! I love that line. And as for Batman Robin, I know Joel Schumacher, the way he was doing these movies, they were doing it more comedically. And some say if you watch Batman Robin as a comedy, it might work. And I tried watching it with that mentality once, and a few scenes were a little more tolerable, but even as a comedy, it is awful. But there is one thing in Batman Robin that I feel is legitimately enjoyable. Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze. Yes, his ice puns are dumb, even by Schwarzenegger standards, but it's almost impossible not to smirk with it. The last thing I'll say about Batman Forever and Batman Robin is that I can't believe that Joel Schumacher made these movies. The movie he made between these two was A Time to Kill, and that is a amazing, very gripping, very serious, intense drama. I just can't believe it came from the same fucking director. And now on to the Tim Burton movies, because for some reason I decided to go with the latter films first. I enjoyed the original Batman movie. I agree with the majority opinion. Michael Keaton, I think, is the best Batman. He does a great job as a badass despite not looking like one at all when he's out of costume. And I know everyone has mentioned, but that smile he makes when he's in the Batsuit, just... And I know some people took issue with Michael Keaton's Batman killing some of the bad guys, and because I know that's part of the Batman mythos, that he never kills bad guys. I get the morals, because it's what separates him from the bad guys, but at the same time, my type of action is where heroes kill the bad guys. Charles Bronson is my favorite action star, and in my opinion, this Batman is the ultimate fucking badass. And as Bruce Wayne, he played a very vulnerable Bruce Wayne, one who doesn't talk about what he's going through that much, but just by looking at his face you can tell he's hurting inside really hard. And Jack Nicholson, what can I say about his Joker that hasn't already been said? He just did a great creepy job. Is there anything I don't like about Tim Burton's Batman? Kim Basinger as Vicky Vale. God damn. I know damsels in distress are a popular trope in superhero movies, but her Vicky Vale, I don't know if this is something the character had in other adaptations, but this portrayal did the thing that I hate the most about damsels in distress. Kim Basinger's Vicky Vale, you think she's gonna be a strong character based on her first few scenes, but when it comes to her having to actually be in the action scenes, she does nothing but scream, shiver, and just back away in fear. In the end, she was more useless than a pop balloon. At the end, when Batman and her are hanging from a ledge and they almost fall, but he uses his grappling line to save the both of them, the thought going through my head was, seriously, dude, you could do better, just drop her. And now on to the movie that so many people are mixed on, Batman Returns. People either love or hate this movie, and I love Batman Returns. My opinion is the greatest Batman movie ever made. Michael Keaton, he does a great job returning as Batman. Danny DeVito as the Penguin. He plays a very grotesque, very evil, but at the same time has been through a lot of awful things, and at times you can sympathize with the character, but in the end he is bad, and despite understanding how he could get where he is, you both hate him, but you kind of understand him. Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. She is just the reverse of Kim Basinger's Vicky Vale from the first film, where Vicky Vale in that movie started out as strong, but then became a useless pussy by the end. Michelle Pfeiffer, Selena Kyle, starts out at the beginning as weak, can't stand up for herself, always gets pushed around, and then after a traumatic accident, she becomes the badass and doesn't take shit from anybody Catwoman, and she kicks a lot of ass, and she and Batman, their scenes together are very good, they are very erotic, they carry a lot of chemistry, you can see the tension but the attraction. And Christopher Walken's in it. What more awesome could you ask for? The action scenes are great, the effects are incredible for their time. The movie is very unpleasant at times, and I understand that is what turned a lot of people off. But me, I like dark and unpleasant. Batman Returns, I love it. And people thought The Dark Knight was the darkest Batman movie. Yeah, clearly they haven't seen Batman Returns.